Have you ever found yourself in a moment like this? Someone looks at you with kind eyes, offers a soft smile, and asks a question that seems so harmless. But deep inside, something stirs. Something feels wrong. You answer, and in that very instant, you realize you've stepped into a game you can never win. This is the art of the liar. See, they don't need to shout at you. They don't need to attack you head on. A skilled manipulator is far more clever than that. They plant questions, simple on the surface, but inside a trap. And once you fall for it, you start doubting yourself, apologizing for things you never did, until one day you're not fighting them anymore. You're fighting yourself. And this is not new. Over 2,000 years ago, the Stoic masters Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius warned us about this very tactic. They knew liars rarely attack directly. Instead, they plant tiny seeds of doubt and wait for you to tear down your own confidence. The truth is, this strategy hasn't changed. It's only grown sharper, more subtle. And today, in a world of pressure, distraction, and constant noise, those innocent little questions hit harder than ever before. So what do? The answer isn't rage. It isn't paranoia. The answer is calm, clarity, the ability to see things as they are without letting your mind get dragged into chaos. That's the wisdom the Stoics left us, a mental armor against manipulation. And in this video, I'm going to show you the 7 dangerous questions liars use to control you. More importantly, I'll show you how a Stoic would respond calmly, clearly, unshakably. Because once you recognize the game, you stop being a pawn on their chessboard. You become the player. If you want to build the strength to never fall into a manipulator's trap again, stay with me until the end. And if you find value here, hit like, subscribe, and turn on that bell, because each week you'll get another Stoic shield to sharpen your mind and protect your spirit. Dangerous. Question number 1. Do you think everyone's against you? Have you ever heard someone say this to you? Come on, do you think everyone's against you? At first it sounds caring, almost like advice, like they're telling you to relax, to stop overthinking. But don't be fooled, because behind that soft question hides a sharp blade, a blade aimed straight at your confidence, at your awareness. Think about it. You're in a meeting. You point out something that feels wrong in the team. Instead of listening, someone smirks and says, "Don't act like everyone's out to get you." One line, just one. And suddenly you're isolated. You start to fear that if you push further, the whole room will brand you as paranoid. So what do? You go silent. Or at home, you call out an obvious unfairness. Maybe one person always gets special treatment. Instead of facing it, someone throws back, "Don't assume people are bad." Sounds noble, right? But it's not. It takes your awareness, your ability to see clearly, and twists it into a flaw. It makes you second-guess yourself. It makes you shrink. Worse, it makes you lose trust in the very instincts that were trying to protect you. This is the manipulator's trick. They don't have to deny the truth. They only have to plant the fear of judgment. Because the moment you're afraid of being labeled suspicious, you'll silence yourself. You'll smother your own warning signs. And just like that, they win without ever having to argue. But the Stoic doesn't fall for this trap. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If anyone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change. For I seek the truth, not victory." See that question. Do you think everyone's against you? Doesn't shake the Stoic. Because the Stoic knows truth doesn't depend on the crowd, and the wisest answer is calm, clear, and steady. I don't think everyone's against me. I simply observe actions and respond to the truth. One sentence, but enough to cut straight through the fog of manipulation. Dangerous. Question number 2. Why are you being so sensitive? You've heard it before, haven't you? Why are you being so sensitive? On the surface, it sounds gentle, like concern, like someone's trying to calm you down with a soft touch. But don't be fooled. This isn't concern. It's an accusation cleverly disguised. Hidden inside that question is a message you're weak. You're imagining things. The problem isn't me. The problem is you. And in a single moment, you start to doubt yourself. Maybe I am overreacting. Maybe I am seeing things that aren't there. And right then, you've walked straight into the trap. Let me give you some examples. In love, you feel something's off with your partner. You bring it up, but they just smile and say, "You're being too sensitive." No dialogue, no honesty, just dismissal. Or at work, you question a decision that feels unethical, but instead of addressing it, you hear, "Don't overreact. It's just business." That's not a conversation. That's a weapon. Because what they want is to strip away your greatest defense awareness. But here's what you must remember. Sensitivity is not weakness. Sensitivity is awareness. It's the early radar, the warning system others ignore. It's the financial analyst who spots a tiny inconsistency in the books mocked as paranoid until a multi-million-dollar fraud is exposed. It's the spouse who notices subtle changes in behavior brushed off as overreacting until betrayal finally comes to light. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Manipulators know this. They plant seeds of doubt in your imagination until you start to believe you are the problem. But the truth is the opposite. Your sensitivity is the signal, the alert, the shield that protects you. So how should you respond? Not with anger, not with frantic defense. The Stoic smiles calmly and says, "I'm not being sensitive. I'm being observant." Does that make you uncomfortable, one line? And the mask of the liar begins to crack. Dangerous. Question number 3. I've done everything for you. Don't you see that? Maybe you've heard this one before, "I've done everything for you." Don't you see that? At first, it sounds loving, selfless, noble. But be careful, because behind that gentle tone may be something else entirely, an invisible chain, the chain of guilt. Picture this in a relationship. Your partner says again and again, "I've sacrificed so much for you," and yet you still complain. On the surface, it's a reminder of their effort, but underneath it turns love into a debt. Suddenly you feel guilty for pushing back. You feel wrong for asking for what you need. And little by little you stop speaking your truth. This happens at work too. A colleague, a boss. They might say, "I took on all the hard tasks for you and you still have something to say." Sounds fair, doesn't it? But it isn't. The real goal is not fairness. The real goal is silence, to make you afraid to question, afraid to push back. It's a subtle tactic. No threats, no shouting, just guilt. And once guilt takes root, you tie your own hands. That's how manipulators twist love and sacrifice into tools of control. But here's the truth. Real love doesn't demand your silence. Real sacrifice doesn't require obedience in return. If it's truly for you, it needs no repayment, no guilt, no submission. Seneca once wrote, "Do what is right, not for thanks, but because it is right. That's Stoic wisdom. So when faced with this question, don't surrender to guilt. The Stoic replies calmly, if it was truly for me, it doesn't need my silence or my submission, because real love never asks for repayment. One line, and the invisible chain is cut. It reminds you of something vital. You don't owe anyone your silence, and love, when it's real, will always be free. Never a hidden contract, never a mask for control. Dangerous question number 4. You trust me, right? Stop for a moment. Think back. Have you ever had someone look you straight in the eye and say, you trust me, right? It sounds harmless, even sweet. But make no mistake, this is not a question. It's a trap. Because here's the truth. A trustworthy person never demands trust. They prove it through action, through consistency, day after day. That's how real trust is built stone by stone. But when someone pushes you, when they press you for that, yes, be careful. Because hidden inside those words, you trust me, right, is a darker message. Don't think. Don't question. Hand me your judgment. Give me your freedom. Look at the examples. In business, a partner refuses to show the books but leans in with a whisper, trust me. In love, a partner guards their phone but repeats over and over, don't you trust me? Both sound different, but the tactic is the same. They're not building trust. They're demanding blind faith. And blind faith, that is the breeding ground of betrayal. The Stoics saw this long ago. Epictetus warned, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Manipulators know this too. When you're forced to trust blindly, you stop asking questions. You stop searching for truth. And in that moment, you've surrendered your freedom. So what would the Stoic do? They don't panic. They don't rush to defend. They stay calm and answer with clarity. Trust is earned through consistency. Are you asking me to ignore my own judgment? One line. But it flips the frame completely. Suddenly the spotlight is on them, not you. An honest person won't be offended. They'll keep showing you through action. But the liar, they'll stumble. They'll lash out. They'll try to escape. Remember this. Trust is never a gift handed out under pressure. It's a fortress, built with time, with truth, with consistency. And you should never surrender that fortress just because someone demands it. Dangerous. Question number 5. Are you accusing me? There's a kind of question that sounds harmless, but it's really a weapon turned back on you. It's when someone snaps. Are you accusing me? At first it feels fair, natural, a simple defense. But don't be fooled. This is not defense. It's a reversal, a subtle trick to turn you from the observer into the suspect. Here's how it works. You raise a concern. You notice something off. You ask a question, and instead of answers, you get a sharp counterattack. Wait. Are you accusing me? In an instant, the spotlight moves. It's no longer on them. It's burning down on you. You rush to deny it. No, that's not what I meant. And just like that, you've lost your power. Think of the examples. An employee asks about missing funds. The boss fires back. Are you accusing me of stealing? A partner's behavior seems shady. You ask. They look hurt and say, you think I'm cheating? And what happens? The truth disappears into the shadows while you scramble to defend yourself. The Stoics gave us a razor-sharp principle. The best answer to anger is silence. But silence here doesn't mean surrender. It means composure. It means refusing to play a rigged game. So what would the Stoic do? They don't panic. They don't over-explain. They hold eye contact, wait 2, 3 seconds, and then calmly say, "Should I be 3 words?" But those 3 words flip the entire frame. The fake counterattack collapses into silence, and the weight of pressure returns exactly where it belongs. Never forget, truth never fears the light, and the one who seeks truth never needs to apologize for seeing clearly. Dangerous question, number 6. Would I ever lie to you? Picture this. You start noticing something's off. Details don't line up, signs don't make sense. So you ask. And instead of a clear answer, you hear, "Would I ever lie to you?" Soft, almost wounded. But don't be fooled. This is not a real question. It's theater, a performance designed to make you feel guilty just for daring to doubt. This tactic is dangerous because it's not about proving truth. It's about killing your suspicion. The goal isn't conversation. The goal is blind faith. And once guilt takes hold, you go quiet. You stop searching for answers. And in that silence, the liar wins. Think about it. In a relationship, your partner hides their phone, deletes messages, and when you ask, they sigh, "Would I ever lie to you?" Those words aren't meant to clarify. They're meant to shame you for questioning. Or at work, a colleague dodges responsibility, and when confronted, they shoot back, "Me lie." That's not transparency. That's a smokescreen, a trick to make you back down. But the Stoic doesn't fall for it. Seneca wrote, "If it is not true, do not say it. If it is not right, do not do it." An honest person never needs to convince you they don't lie. Their actions, their consistency, their time, that's the proof. So what's the wise response? The Stoic looks calmly, directly, and says, "That's not the question. The real question is, if you did lie, would I know one sentence?" And the balance shifts. No guilt, no shame, just clarity. Because here's the truth. The honest never fears scrutiny. Only the liar fears the light. Dangerous question 7. Can't we just move on? This is the last card. The desperation play manipulators use when nothing else works. It comes dressed in softness. Can't we just move on? On the surface, it sounds peaceful, like an olive branch, a call for healing. But look closer. It's not about healing. It's about escape, not facing responsibility, just running from it. They know you're tired. They know you've been digging, questioning, searching for answers. And just when the truth is about to break through, they throw this line. Not to resolve the problem, but to wear you down. To push you into silence dressed up as moving forward. The examples are everywhere. A company caught in scandal. Leaders say, "Let's not dwell on the past. Let's focus on the future." But that's not transparency. That's cover-up. Or in marriage, betrayal is exposed. Instead of honest apology, the plea comes, "Why keep bringing it up? Can't we just move on?" That's not remorse. That's a mask for avoidance. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Notice he never added unless it's inconvenient. Truth has no expiration date. It doesn't vanish just because someone wants silence. So what would the Stoic do? They don't rage. They don't sink into endless argument. They stand firm and say, "I'll move on when I understand what happened." Not before. One line. But it shuts the door on escape. It shows that forgiveness, if it comes, only comes through clarity, not exhaustion. Remember this, moving on is not about speed. It's about honesty. And when truth is faced, only then can peace begin. Face the truth. A liar doesn't need evidence. They don't need logic. Their sharpest weapon is your emotion. They plant guilt, make you believe you're selfish. They plant shame, make you doubt your own senses. And when guilt and shame aren't enough, they drain you with exhaustion until you surrender, until you fall silent. That's the battlefield they choose. Not truth, not reason, but your trembling heart. And if you let emotions lead the way, you've already lost before the game even begins. But this is where Stoicism becomes your shield. Epictetus taught, "Some things are within our control and some are not." Simple words, but the foundation of inner freedom. When you know what belongs to you and what doesn't, no one can shackle you with emotions that aren't yours to carry. Remember this: awareness is not weakness. Awareness is power. The sharp eye sees the crack before the wall collapses. The clear mind notices the shadow before it swallows the room. Never let anyone twist your awareness into a burden. And more than that, truth has no expiration date. It doesn't vanish because someone begs you to forget. It doesn't fade because someone says, "Move on." Truth waits, always, for the one brave enough to face it. When you walk with the Stoic mindset, you no longer dance to the manipulator's rhythm. You don't get pulled by the emotions they create. You simply observe. You breathe. You choose your response with reason, and in that moment, every one of their attacks becomes useless. Picture it. You stand in the middle of a storm. Winds howl, rain lashes, thunder roars, but inside you remain unshaken. That is Stoic power. Calm when others break, clear when others are blinded. And when you reach that state, every trick, every tactic, every manipulation disappears. We've just walked through 7 questions that seem harmless, but are in truth some of the most dangerous traps of manipulation. Each one is a move on the chessboard, each one carefully placed by the liar. But once you see them, once you recognize them with clarity, you are no longer the pawn they control. You become the player, the one who holds the board. Real strength isn't about shouting. It isn't about lashing out to prove you're right. Real strength lives in calm observation. Because when you stay steady, every scheme crumbles. A manipulator only survives when you lose balance. Remember this: you are not cruel for demanding the truth. You are not rigid for refusing to excuse what is wrong. And you are not weak for noticing deception. You are awake. And that awakening, that clarity, is exactly what they fear most. Yes, the world is full of subtle traps, but you don't have to live in fear. Because every time you choose reason over blind emotion, every time you choose clarity over forced silence, you walk like a Stoic warrior, calm, observant, unshakable. Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius. They left us a legacy that the strongest person is not the one who wins arguments, but the one who cannot be controlled by lies. That person doesn't need to roar. They don't need to show off their power. They simply sit steady in truth and let the liar reveal themselves. So here's my final message to you. Choose clarity. Choose reason. Walk as a Stoic warrior. Stay calm when others lose control. Stay clear when others are blind. And above all, never let yourself become a pawn in someone else's game. Because in a world of shadows, the one who is feared most is not the manipulator. It is the one who is awake.